Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kike. You already know the title, so you know what we're going to be discussing today. Power Book 2 Ghost. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm not even going to give a long intro because I'm ready to talk about this series. Power Book 2 Ghost basically picks up from this season finale of the long-running series Power, and we basically get to see Tariq navigate life. He gets to navigate, we see him navigate college, navigate his mum being in prison, just his journey growing into a man. So okay, cool, I'm gonna break down the characters and then we're gonna talk about the season finale. This is where I'm gonna say, if you haven't watched the series, if you haven't watched the season finale and you don't want spoilers, probably don't watch this video because there will be spoilers. So just a heads up. So let's start by talking about Tariq. When the original Power finished, the trailer showed that this series, Power Book 2 Ghost, was gonna be all about Tariq. And I think because of that, it turned a lot of people off. People are like, listen, this little rat, because he was a rat, we hated him. He killed his dad, he killed his sister. He was just doing the most in all of Power. So I think for a lot of people, it's just like, why would I want to watch a whole series about this guy? But I have to say, say it with me now, like, I have never seen writers do so well in turning one of the most hated characters on TV to somebody that I love, somebody that I am actively rooting for. Like, I'm like, no, you can't catch him. No, you can't kill him. Coming into the series, my view was that Tariq was stupid, he was entitled, and he was spoiled. Like, I could not stand the kid. And we see from the opening of season 1, we see him running about. And I promise you, the writers do not relent, because the boy is running to the very 10th episode. He is running from room to room, door to door. My guy is busy. Not only is he trying to help get his mom released from prison, this boy also is in school, studying full time, studying his course load, selling drugs, and also studying Zeke's course load in order to stay in Stansfield. I think what this series does really, really well is that we get to see Tariq kind of descend into Ghost. He doesn't completely become Ghost, but we get to see him make some of the decisions and start to understand the reason why his dad made some of the decisions that he did. And I think that was so smart, because one of the things that Tariq hated so much about his dad, aside from the fact that obviously he cheated on his mom, broke up the family, very sad stuff, is the fact that he just couldn't understand why Ghost made some of the decisions he made. He saw Ghost as this very selfish person who didn't really think about anybody else. What I really like about this show is the fact that we get to see Tariq pushed. Like, we get to see him lying to his closest friends, telling part of the story to everyone, and he's the only person who knows the truth. It was just really interesting seeing the comparison between the two characters and seeing how you think you're so different from your dad, but really you're very similar. It's a lot easier to judge people when you're not actually in their shoes. I'm not saying any of Ghost's actions were right, because baby, he was doing a lot, and it's kind of like, as much as he still hates his dad, and we see that in the scene where he stumbles over to the grave and he's talking to his dad, it's like, I think he gets some form of appreciation for, like, yo, my dad was really going for a lot. The guy was juggling a lot. We obviously get to see him likened to Ghost in the way where he's juggling 3 women. And it's interesting though, because you was mad at your dad for juggling 2 women, but baby, here you are juggling 3. But I guess he's not really committed to any of them, so he's just doing his player thing, man. So let's talk about Tariq's 3 love interests. So we have Effie, we have Lauren, and we have Diana. So let's start with Effie. I feel like I never really liked Effie. I always felt like she was a snake. That's just how it is. Like, you're mad now because he's doing what you've been done to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, my guy really got kicked out of school because of you. I think Effie is the balance between Diana and Lauren. Diana is almost too heavily involved in the gang life, in the like selling of drugs, which is business, you know what I mean? And then I think Lauren is almost too green. Like, she's very idealistic, very sheltered. And so I think Effie is the perfect balance in between the two of them. So if I'm looking at all of the love interests and I'm thinking which one makes sense, I think he should choose Effie. But that being said, Effie does the most, like. But I will take a second just to pull to the side and comment on the love scene between Tariq and Effie. When I say gangster, you say love. Gangster, because that scene where she pulled the gun out of his trousers, that was the ghetto. This is what the people really actually call gangster love. Like, this is it. Let's talk a little bit about Lauren. I feel like Lauren is your average, you know, she goes to school, she comes from money, she's very intelligent, but she's also very, very sheltered and she's very close-minded. And I feel like we saw a lot of instances where she was angry at Tariq, or like she had expectations. And honestly, it confused me because it's like, my babes, you want him to be fighting for you, but you have a man. Like, you have a man. What did you think was gonna happen? Like, get serious. And then you broke up with your man and then you ran to him and you thought, obviously at that time, Tariq had like blood on his shirt, which is why they didn't end up doing anything. But honestly, like, why do you have so many expectations? I'm not your man. You have a man. Did you expect me to be scrapping in the schoolyard because, baby, like... And so finally, Tariq's third love interest is Diana. I'm confused as to how she's so sprung with Tariq. Like, she really acts like she's in love with this guy, and it's like, you guys have had so very few conversations. I almost feel like she's been made to feel that she can have everything she wants because she is the only daughter. She's obviously got 2 older brothers. We see that a lot when she rolls up to Tariq's house and she's kind of like, well, who's in the room? Like, who have you got in the room? I was like, love, I don't know why you're demanding to know who's in his room, because you're not his girl. Like, I feel like these girls need to understand, I am not your man. Like, I'm not your man. So I don't owe you any form of explanation. There's nothing going on between us. Like, you like me and that's cool, but like, let's relax here. I feel like she tries to make it seem that she's really like all for Tariq. Like, I've got your back. Like, I'm always going to be there for you. But when push comes to shove, you answer to Monet. Your loyalties lie with Monet. And we see that when Tariq tells her about course correct, she doesn't even wait an hour before she goes back and goes to tell Monet. When she kicks her own brother out of the house, like, your loyalties lie with Monet. So guys, let's talk about my baby boo. Let's talk about Kane. So I feel like Kane honestly gets a lot of flack, but he's really one of my favorite characters. Before I delve into anything though, can we just take a second to appreciate the casting of this role? Because Woody McLean, he plays the role so convincingly. Like, my guy is doing the damn thing and he's looking good while doing it. And we're also just gonna segue to the side and take a second to appreciate the wardrobe. They have him suited and booted. He wore one very, very cute Louis jacket in episode 7. I said, okay, babe, like, I see you. You don't gotta flex that hard. Like, you look good. But okay, let's talk about the character. Let's talk about Kane. So the thing with Kane is that he's so loyal, but he's so dumb. And it's so hard for me to support him because it's just like, really? Like, really? Is that what you're gonna do? Do you think that's the right move to make? And I feel like that is why he hates Tariq so much. Kane has no foresight. Everything he does is for the moment, because I feel like doing it makes sense right now. I'm not gonna think of the future consequences. And that's where he differs from Tariq, because whatever Tariq does, he's already mapped out kind of like what's gonna happen in the future. Like, Monet sees the way that Tariq's brain works and sees that this guy has potential, and Kane just doesn't have that foresight. And to be a successful criminal, you need foresight, otherwise you're gonna get caught. And he makes so many stupid moves. Like, there's so many things he does where I'm just like, you're not thinking. Like, you're not thinking. Like, bro, like, no. Like, we just see so many stupid moves, from putting Brayden and his brother onto the street to work, from like the plan to kill Tariq at Zeke's college, a place where Monet has made it excruciatingly clear, never bring business here. Zeke is separate from the business. And you thought, yeah, this is a perfect place to have him killed. And it's just like, when I really think about when he did that, when he set up that plan, I'm just like, where did you think this was gonna go? You're going to jail.
You're going to jail. That way.
Going to jail. On one side of the coin, I understand this guy's always been loyal. To him, it's like, I've always been the enforcer that you guys need. So for you to now turn your back on me, like, for this new kid that's just come in, change up the whole business model when the business model has been based on me. Like, I can see why he's angry. I'm personally buying into the conspiracy that Kane is not Lorenzo's son, because I just feel like, aside from the skin tone, because it doesn't make sense how that would add up to that, aside from that, like, I just feel like Lorenzo is so harsh to Kane. When Lorenzo had the guards beat Kane's ass, I said, baby, my heart is shattered for you. And then obviously we see that Lorenzo wants Drew to take over the business because he doesn't think Kane should, and he's so adamant about Kane not taking over the business. It's almost, it just gives me like, you're not really my child vibes. I just took you in because I love your mum, if I'm being real. Okay, so with Drew, I was pleasantly surprised with this character. I think at first we just saw him as a more gentle member of the family, and he was just kind of on the side. And we only really see him lose his cool properly once, and that is when obviously the Guap boys hold their gun to Zeke's knee. And personally, do I think that was just about Zeke? Absolutely not. Obviously, is it Emirate or Everett, or what did they call him? I don't know. The guy, I hate him. Everett, I think it was only because, I don't think it was only, but I think a large part of it was the fact that Everett was there. And obviously we know how strongly he feels about Everett. My guy really tracked him all the way to the club, like giving me Joe vibes. And I'm very excited to see where the writers are going to take Drew's character next season. They've let it slip once or twice that Drew is actually a lot more dangerous than he lets on. And I'm excited to see him become, like, he's gonna have to become more dangerous. So obviously now they've lost Kane in the family. And to be honest, again, I have to give the writers a round of applause, because honestly, the portrayal of Drew, I think it's fantastic. Often in the media, when we see gay black men, they're very effeminate, they're very one-dimensional. Drew, we really got to see layers. We got to see, like, how does he act in different situations? I really think they wrote Drew's character very well. So I'm gonna address Zeke, Jabari and Carrie all in one go, because if I'm being honest, these characters really bore me, and I just think each and every one of them is very, very stupid. So let's start with Jabari. There are very few characters that I hate on TV as much as I hate Jabari. This guy is boring. He is entitled. He is a loser. He is rude. He is like, he makes my head hurt. Like, he's just so dumb. I can't, like, it's the way I feel like we need to see what happened between him and Carrie, because the way he's so obsessed with Professor Carrie, aka Professor Milgram, the way he's so obsessed with her, it doesn't make sense. It's just like, my guy, is Carrie the only woman in the world? But the issue with it is clearly not, because you're out here smashing your PhD students. You're out here smashing other girls. Him being killed, honestly, it made my new year. Like, it was like, yeah, okay, 2021 is going to be a good year. That's how I felt about it. And I loved that last scene, obviously, where he was killed. And he's like to Tariq, no, like, I know you're a good kid, like, don't do this, da-da-da-da-da. Tariq said, gun to the head. Like, you don't know me, you don't know my story, like, stop trying to act like we're boys, stop trying to act like you can relate to me. You can't, like, give it up. Okay, so let's move on to Zeke. I just, like, Zeke, to me, I'm just almost confused. Like, whilst I understand that Monet was obviously trying to keep him separate from the family business, like, are you slow? Because, like, how did you not catch on? Like, how do you think that you got to this fancy school? Okay, I guess he plays basketball, so there's a chance that he could have been on a scholarship. But prior to you coming here to play basketball, you was living in a very big house with all these people who don't go to work, and your uncle's in prison. Like, you didn't connect the dots. Like, well, clearly it falls in line with the character. Like, he's just so dopey. Like, it just is so annoying. And then I say this respectfully, obviously. I almost feel like the casting of Zeke was a little bit off. To me, this guy's supposed to be this superstar athlete that's highly sought after. And it's almost like, I feel like the person playing him is a bit too old to be playing him. Like, him and Tariq honestly don't look like age mates. They don't even look 5 years apart. Like, it's a lot more than that. So it's just almost like, but honestly, it was the constant faces for me. Like, the relationship between him and Carrie really just disgusts me. It just confuses me that Carrie tries to act like this person who has so much integrity, but you're sleeping with one of your students, and he's an undergraduate student. So I can't sympathize with her character. The way she was constantly trying to get to know Tariq, but she wasn't really trying to help him. Like, I just feel like she likes to know information and she likes to hold it in. Like, that's her thing. But she can't even hold it in because she was ready to spill her lips until Auntie Monet said, baby, focus, your career will be gone in a second, don't play with me. So let's talk about Brayden. So Brayden is another one of my favorites. You know, I like the ones who are a little bit rogue, and I want to be a little bit like, this is not what you should be doing, but hey, I love you for it. Honestly, with Brayden, he was one of those characters that really grew on me, because at first, when he was first introduced in the original Power series, I was just kind of like, this guy is irrelevant and I don't actually know why I have to keep seeing him on my screen. But somebody give those writers a raise, because the character development, oh, like Brayden, everyone's saying that Brayden is a mini Tommy, but scrap that. Brayden is a better Tommy. Like, given the time, give him the experience, he will be a better Tommy. He has less aggression, he has love for the game, he's loyal, he has foresight, he's a lot less emotional about business. Like, I hope that we don't see Tariq make the same mistakes as Ghost. You need somebody to rely on, and I just think Brayden is that person. So I don't really want to talk too much about Saxe and Davis McLean. He was perfectly casted for the role. He played it so well. We got to see him be sneaky, we got to see him be this excellent lawyer, and I just hope we'll get to see him in season 2. So I enjoyed the back and forth between Saxe and Method Man. Saxe and Davis. I don't like Saxe, don't get me wrong. He's been annoying since the beginning of the original Power series, but I do feel like his character is misunderstood. I feel like Saxe does actually try to chase justice. He just doesn't always do it in the right way. And the question really is, does the ends justify the means? And it's down to you as the viewer to decide that. All I have to say, I don't have much to say about Auntie Monet, but I do have to say Mary J. Blige was doing the damn thing. I thoroughly enjoyed her character. I thoroughly enjoyed seeing a boss babe. Like, I feel like the thing about the original Power is we didn't get to see a boss babe. Like, Tasha kind of tried to liken herself to Monet, but it's like, you're completely different. Ghost ran your organization. You may have helped him. We didn't see that. But Monet is in charge. Monet calls the shots. There's nothing Lorenzo can do from inside prison. Final thing I want to talk about is the season finale, because honestly, I was like this. For the whole 1 hour, 8 minutes, I was shooketh. I'm confused about why Monet and Drew are blaming Kane for everything that's happened up until this point. Because at this point, like at the beginning of the episode, they didn't know yet that he'd killed Ramirez. So it was almost like you're blaming him for Drew being shot, you're blaming him for all this stuff, but he never would have been like that if, like a mother, you went to go and get him after what his dad did to him. But you didn't do that. Like, she obviously told Lorenzo off for beating Kane's ass, but like, she never communicated that to Kane. They never had a discussion between the two of them. So them blaming Kane for everything, like, it's interesting to me. It's odd to me, to be honest. Steven, the guy who works for, is it DNC or DHC, whatever, we see him pushing for Tasha, the one who's pushing for Tasha to be arrested. My biggest lesson from that guy is, Omar, in this life you must have power. It's not about money, it's about power. Like, imagine the audacity for you to come into the judge's chambers and say, take a hike or you're getting resigned. Like, the judge quickly she picked up her bag and she said, I'm gonna see y'all later. I'm a little bit confused about this plea deal, if I'm being honest. And I'm also lost because it's like, maybe you guys have forgotten who Tommy is. Like, Tommy will kill you, no problem. He's a killer. Like, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He killed his own girlfriend, for God's sake. But I guess we see at the end of the episode that the plan is to run away, and, you know, she ends up being taken without Tariq or without Yaz. So it's almost like you have none of your kids now, and this is how you're going to live the rest of your life. I hope we see her again in season 2, because it just doesn't make sense for her to stay away, like, from both of her children when she claims that, like, her pride and joy is being a mom. I think it was interesting that as soon as we see Tasha come out of prison, she kind of tries to assert this motherly dominance. I think the line was something like, she tells him that they're running away and he's like, Mom, are you sure? What about Monet? And she's kind of like, don't worry about Monet, like, worry about what I've got to say. And whilst I understand that she's now trying to play mother, even though she had, what, 18, 17 years to do that and she didn't? Anyway, it's almost just like, this man, because he's not a boy anymore, this man has done a lot of growing up without you here. He's done a lot of growing up to put you back in this position. So you now trying to assert motherly dominance, it's not quite adding up. But I don't know, maybe I just missed the one. Like, so obviously we see Riley and Brayden kind of have a conversation. And honestly, whenever I see them, I just feel like and I just want to pick up Brayden and protect him, because I don't understand why she has so much vim for Tariq. Like, she's really trying to act like she's an ethical person, but you're not, because you drugged him. So I don't understand. She's so involved in this beef between Tariq and her uncle, but I don't understand why you're now coming to carry the cross as if it's yours. This situation has nothing to do with you. You could have stepped back at any time, but you decided not to, and I'm so confused. I genuinely think that someone in that pea brain of hers, somewhere between that pink wig and her silly little head, she actually loves Brayden, but it's too late. It's actually too little too late. You're a liar and get out. Do you know what really gets to me though? Audacity, the nerve of this Tejada family to now, after all the wahala has happened, after you realise that you need Kane, when Lorenzo says to Monet, well, you need to go get Kane, you need an enforcer. You didn't know you needed an enforcer when you beat this boy in the prison. You didn't know you needed an enforcer when you was constantly trying to pick Drew over him. Like, are you silly? Are all of you silly? Because even if, obviously the conversation with Kane and Monet ended with Monet saying like, obviously she found out that he killed Ramirez and she was like, she's done. But even if that didn't happen, I just feel like Kane should have been like, no, I'm not interested in this. I don't want to talk to you guys anymore. We're done. What I feel like I was not expecting was for Monet to turn up. I thought that it was going to be like Sax or something that rescued Tariq from Tommy, but when Monet turned around and she was like, yeah, what's good? Like, I was like, oh my god, no, actually, it's not even, it's no longer Tariq St. Patrick, it's now Tariq Tejada. Like, he's really part of the family. Monet said, okay, get in the car, the family's waiting. I said, yes. I said, Tariq is finally getting everything he wanted, because I feel like obviously there was a lot of reasons why he was angry at Ghost, but one of the big ones was the fact that Ghost wouldn't teach him how to run the streets, and that was why he became so close with Kanan. So to see now that he's getting kind of like all the lessons that I guess he always wanted, it's just like, oh, he's getting the family that he wanted and that he needed. But yeah, guys, I've talked for a long time, but I thoroughly enjoyed Power Book 2 Ghost. That is such a tongue twister. Power Book 2 Ghost, and I'm excited to see season 2. Like, let's go. And for all the people saying, I'm not gonna watch the Kanan one, I don't want to see it, I don't want to see Raising Kanan, be quiet, because you didn't want to see Tariq, but now here you are, loving the series. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. If you have, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. If you didn't like the video, give me a dislike. Tell me in the comments what you want me to review next, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye guys.